Hello, I'm Audrey. I studied to be a therapist and today I work as a UX designer. So this is that story. My personal journey could be kind of described in 3 steps. One of them would be research. The second would be educational, like bridging the gap between the skills I had and what I needed to learn, and marketing myself and actually finding a first job in UX. So first step in terms of research is that I didn't really know what UX was, and I knew one person that was working in tech. So I started talking with that person about the different roles and position in tech, and for me it seemed like it was really the position that I was the most interested in. This is also this person that helped me get started in terms of what I needed, in terms of documentation, like how to get started, basically what I should learn. So I started reading more about UX, and through that I realized where the gap was. I realized that I did have a lot of experience working in research. I've done a lot of user interviews, a lot of qualitative research, even focus groups before in like a more academic setting, but I didn't have much experience in design or at all, like really. Through that research I also started looking at job description. So UI UX designer, UX researcher, UX designer, product designer, and I was very overwhelmed and confused, like what do these all mean? And there's so many overlaps and things are different, but we can get into that into another video. So step number 2 in terms of education, this is where I just started like bridging the gap between what the skills I already had and what I thought I would need to learn. So I registered for a course on Coursera that was on UX design, just like the basics of UX design, the process, and with a couple of exercises as well. It was called like UX specialization. It's a tough word for me as a French speaker, specialization. I would really encourage people who think, you know, I'd like to get started in UX, I don't necessarily have the financial means to look into that, because Coursera actually offers a lot of grants. So if you would like to apply to try to get into a UX class or even any other class, that may actually be really worth it. And the second thing is that I took a very extensive class on how to use design softwares. And that class was on Udemy, and it was really started from the very basic to the quite advanced, like being able to reproduce quite advanced designs. At the time I learned Sketch, but then I really easily transferred what I had learned to Figma. I think if you learn one platform, can easily very fast transfer to another platform. So yeah, for a while I was just learning this class, and I remember I have this like flashback of just like learning how to draw like a red circle and doing all kinds of things with that circle, and I was just like, oh my god, we're never going to get out of this. Most of that transition, I've never like done it like really full-time. It was more evenings and weekends trying to bridge that gap. Alright, and then number 3 is job search, and I'm really getting started. So at that point I was at a time, even before I did my portfolio, I started connecting with local UX designers through like, there's some kind of you can look definitely through meetups to see if in your area that there might be any UX research or UX design groups. I will eventually do a video on that, about all those online resources if you don't have a local UX design group. What I did at the time is that I connected with the organizers of these groups to ask them if they knew anyone who was looking for UX design intern at the time, to get started, to get my first experience. And I ended up being extremely lucky that this very organizer was actually looking for an intern. I got started with them, and getting started kind of confirmed what I thought, which was that I was really good at doing research. Like I loved going into like the analytics and trying to get their insight from that, building information architecture of a website and all of that, or even doing some user interviews with people, communicating with our clients. But when it came to the actual design, I think this is where I needed the most work. So that was very valuable in terms of learning. And when I was ready to transition and look for a job, then what I've noticed at that point, what really helped me is try to look for kind of a niche. I realized that people in the healthcare tech sector or mental health tech sector or wellness even were interested. It seemed like when I approached companies who were into those niche, it seemed like there was more interest into getting me started in UX. And sometimes it wasn't necessarily a good fit. They were looking for someone who had stronger UI skills, but still I got considered. And that was also an advice I got from one of the speakers of the meetups that I went to, is that you end up in the end saving maybe a lot of time if you try to look for a niche or something that you're genuinely interested in. That helped me work on a passion project too that I managed to put in my portfolio, which helped me get hired eventually. And eventually I changed the information for something a bit more recent, but that helped me like showcase something for sure. And so I looked for all the companies in my area that were targeting specifically those niche. So I have a big spreadsheet of all those companies, and even if they were not looking for a designer, I contacted them saying, hey, here's who I am, here's my CV, here's my portfolio, here's what I do, and I think this would really be a good fit. And not gonna lie, a lot of people, like tons of people did not answer, but some of them did. I had interest of a few companies and eventually got hired. So I guess this is it. I guess this is my story of how I transitioned from being a therapist to working in UX design. And let me know in the comments below if my experience was similar to yours or completely different. Love to know. And if you're someone just getting started in UX and you have questions, please let me know. I'll be doing a video every Monday and Thursday, so I'm hoping to be able to cover your questions in those videos. So I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.